Well, today I'm lucky enough to be joined by rugby podcast royalty, the co-host of the great Aoteroa Rugby Pod, and there is no better player who can articulate the genuine rugby knowledge to the masses quite like today's guest. He's also obviously an absolute gun on the field with one of the crispest passes in the game during his time with North Harbour, the Blues, and he also racked up a whopping 93 games for the Crusaders, winning a fair few titles along the way. He's also played for the New Zealand Māoris and recently spent some time in Japan with the mighty Blue Revs. On top of all that, he is widely regarded as one of the best lads to chew the fat with in the game. It is, of course, the great Bryn Hall. Welcome, mate.
Oh, mate, what an intro.
Jeez, I probably chewed off a bit more than I could.
I'll tell you what, I've been obviously watched this podcast quite a lot, and actually just to get the call up, it's almost like an All Blacks call up if that ever happens. So, really privileged to actually be here, mate.
Who was the first person you rang when you found out?
Oh, I'll tell you, I rang my mum and dad. I said, look, Jimmy Ma, he's asked me to come on, and like I said, it's almost like an All Black call up. So I've been in the podcast world myself, so really stoked to be here. Thanks for having me, Jimmy.
Mate, what an honour to get you on. And you did mention, like, you're in the podcast world. Oh, the work that you do in the podcast game has grown the podcast community massively. Like, the insight that you give week in, week out has been incredible.
Well, thanks there, Jimmy. Yeah, it's funny how that started, actually. Like, I was actually living at Will Jordan during COVID.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Christie were living together, and Ross Carl just said, look, mate, we just, want to chew the fat around having something for Spotify, called Aoteroa Rugby Pod. And I was like, yeah, jump on board. And from there, it's just kind of kicked off. And now great opportunities coming through that. So, we just try and make it a little bit different, I think. Breakdown has obviously been big in the New Zealand kind of market, but we just try to bring something a little bit different to our viewers to try and educate them. So, yeah, it's been really enjoyable.
How was it hard at the start? Like, obviously, you have to give your opinion on players and teams, and how much of a juggle was that, especially while you're playing? Like, that was basically why I waited till I'd finished to start mine, because I guess I was too scared to put opinions out there while I was still playing.
Yeah, well, I think that's it. Like, I think, because at the same time, you're just so reserved.
Yeah.
And I think because we'd play the Hurricanes or the Chiefs or whatever, and we're playing them next week, and I've seen the stats, and I'm like, man, like, they've been pretty shit or whatever in that kind of way. But I'm not going to say that, because it's a bulletin in their bloody, in their media room. So, I think probably just leaving New Zealand rugby, it's been a lot easier to be able to be a little bit more opinionated and being able to say some hard truths.
Yeah.
And then also with the international game as well, I think if you're going to say the All Blacks are struggling, then probably the coach is going to be like, mate, when you're in here, it's like, well, what are you saying, mate? Like, we're going to just blacklist you. So, it's been a lot easier to be able to talk about it since I've been in Japan. So, but really enjoyed, and continue to keep trying getting better like yourself, mate. So,
mate, you do it so well. And what about like post? Is there ever a time you don't feel like going on? Like, maybe you've had a bad game. I know it doesn't happen. Very, very rarely does it happen. But if you have a bad game and you're gonna then review your game to the masses.
Yeah, I take the piss out of myself pretty much. Like, if I had a bad game, I already know that. So I'm just going out there pretty early doors and saying, like, I was terrible. It's why it led to the result of why we didn't win. So, but no, I think it actually wasn't that hard, really. I think in my time when I was at the Crusaders, like, we were very fortunate to maybe win a lot of games, and I guess around that was being able to try and in this position, trying to maybe uplift the other teams.
Yeah.
So be able to, like, give that perception that we're not going too great. So
keep it humble.
Yeah, try to. In terms of, like I said, you don't want to be able to, like, the Hurricanes or the Chiefs or the Blues. There's a big bulletin saying Hall has just said they're crap. So but no, it's all good.
Have any of the boys messaged you around? Oh man, that was rough, or geez.
I've been pretty good, but this year was probably the toughest one. It was actually against for you boys. I think at the start of the year we had like a prediction of where we think the team's going to land, and I was dreading it pretty much because I actually had you boys coming in like just with obviously Richie leaving and Sam leaving, and I think with the bit of experience with Razor and Scotty going, and then David O'Valley's just come in and said, mate, don't walk back here in Christchurch Park, mate. You dog. You're in the meeting now, mate. Get out of here. So, I got a little bit from D-House, so, which is fair enough. So, spent a bit of time in just like, you dog, mate. Get out of here. Didn't take you that long to leave us.
Oh, that's classic too. And that's scary from D-Hard too.
Well, mate, he's one guy you don't want to get on the bad side, so he didn't talk to me for about 2 months. So, but now we're all good, which is all right. So, yeah,
you're back in.
We're back in.
Didn't have to sneak you in the back.
Nah, I've still got the tags. So,
mate, you're ready.
Haven't done it too bad. I've got those words. So,
well, one thing I did notice is trying to find some information on you. You do podcasts every week, but none of them are about you and your story, really. Like, you've done the Great Rugby Bricks one, which was awesome in terms of detail, but your actual story. So I'm keen to go through that today. And like I always do, as you know, start from the start. So where did it all start for you? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in Auckland.
Yeah.
Grew up in Mount Eden. Got a twin brother. We're born on on separate days, and we're not identical.
Shit.
So that's a
So you were you first?
Yeah, I was first.
Close to midnight, I'm guessing.
Yeah, you bit of nice, mate. A lot of people, it actually takes them a while. 50% of people actually are like, you can't be twins then if you're born on separate days. So it's actually good. You do pass the eye test, mate. So got a twin brother. We grew up in Mount Eden, and my dad obviously introduced us to rugby at Northcote Rugby Club.
Yeah.
Played my junior rugby there, and then went to St. Peter's. So it was in Auckland, and spent a lot of time in Mount Eden. Obviously went to Good Shepherd, and that's where my journey started. And then obviously in high school went to St. Peter's.
Yeah, was it just you and your brother?
Yeah, my mum was like, "No, mate, get out." My dad wanted another girl, and my mum was like, "Just get away, mate. Don't touch me. Like, get out of here."
Yeah.
So just me and Blake. So it was really, really nice being a twin. I think, you always have that kind of companionship and being able to have someone next to you and being able to play and being able to do things together. So really, we got a really good relationship. So
just constantly playing in the backyard.
Just trying to get one up on each other, really. And I just said, mate, you're getting me nothing. So, he beat me in high jump when I was like young, and I just wouldn't have a bar every day. So I was just that angry. So maybe that's where I got my competitive juices, just trying to bury my brother. As you know, having another brother, so just trying to bury.
Is that the only thing he could beat you at? High jump.
High jump. High jump growing up, it was my Achilles. I couldn't get up, maybe my knees, and it's probably right now they're not that great. So my brother used to beat me. So I used to try and cheat, try to do everything I could to try and beat him, but he had it on me at high jump. So Blakey, well done, mate.
you got your sport.
Yeah.
Did he do high jump? Nah,
it was just your school athletics day, and just one thing there to this day. Obviously, it's come hit me really deep. So yeah.
And then your journey into rugby, was it always rugby for you?
We're really lucky. Dad gave us so many sports that he wanted us to do, and I think we obviously played rugby at Northcote Rugby growing up, but Dad would have us playing golf, he'd play having tennis, softball, soccer, anything. So we were just kids out there in the backyard, being able to play as many sports as we could. So we're doing everything. So love tennis. If I had my time again, golf would have been good. So it's a longevity game, that one, Jimmy. So I'd love to be able to swing in a club for 50 years.
I heard you go pretty good.
Nah, mate. I'm actually not. I've been through a bit of a rut at the moment.
Have you?
Yeah, I had a bit of a trainer form for about 2 months, and played a couple of my good mates the other day, and I've got swing problems. So
mini golf specialist? Potentially,
possibly. It's a lot easier, isn't it?
A lot of questions came in about your mini golf game, so I'm guessing that you're probably pretty good at it.
What? That's interesting. I think can't remember the last time I went to mini golf, but my putting's probably like mini golf on the course, so that might be that might be where it's coming from.
Hoping to hit a wall, and
that's it. Yeah, just ricocheting and rolling down a big hill and undulated green and just popping back inside the hole.
Oh, good stuff. And were you always like a confident kid? Like every time I've seen you, like even from a young fella, you've always been confident in front of the camera. You speak really well. Were you always like that, even through sort of primary? Were you the dominant speech day guy? Were you the
I think maybe just when I was younger, because I love sport, right? And it was a great way to be confident, because it was something that I was really good at, right? So I think from that, just kind of maybe the upbringing that my dad had in me and the things that he instilled into me, it might have been at a young age, having those leadership qualities and speaking at after functions as a captain, or being able to speak at debating at English or whatever it might be.
We're a debater, weren't you?
Not very good. I think I cheated the system there a little bit. But I don't know. I think just through time and being able to be in those kind of positions and speaking, it just wasn't. I didn't find it unforeign in terms of like some people are really scared of doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, most people.
Yeah, 100%. So. Yeah, there was never really a fear around it, and I think maybe just from that, having those kind of experiences, it just made me feel confident to be able to speak in those masses.
Yeah, were you head boy?
No, I wasn't.
You give me head boy vibes.
I was too naughty.
Were you?
Too naughty.
You're quite a naughty guy.
Oh, I probably just had how do I say this? Like, was pretty stubborn in terms of maybe what I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
So
is that all the way through?
I think so. Yeah. So, and in hindsight's a great thing, isn't it? Yeah. And probably would have changed a few little things, but I was okay. I was good at school. Like I did what I needed to, but probably if I had my time again, if I put as that much energy as I did into my rugby, could have been a little bit better in the old academic space. But passed everything around NCA and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, probably just.
What let you down?
Oh, I think I was so goal orientated around obviously rugby, right? And I think, I don't know why this stuck with me, but when I was younger, one of my dad's good mates, Craig Blocker, he said to me, Bryn, education is always going to be there. It's always going to be there. Like, you could be 50, 60, you go back to university, you could do anything like that, what you want. But as a professional athlete, because he did cycling back in his day. Yeah. It's probably not great for the young viewers, but geez,
this is the worst advice.
This is the worst advice. Don't listen to this team. This is what I did.
I actually get this, yeah.
But he was like, if you can give 100% and you're really committed to your sport, which was rugby at that time, he said, look, mate, you can go far in that, and then you can pick that up, that stuff later. Yeah. But I obviously passed everything. I knew and understanding. My mum and dad were like, you got to pass you got to pass your school and whatnot. So I did that. But that kind of mindset, I think, from a young age, it just really drove me.
Yeah. What age was that?
That was 8.
8? Oh my God!
I was 8, mate. So I was real young.
I was thinking like 16.
No, mate. I was 8. And I don't know. For whatever reason, it just resonated with me.
You'd already committed to the dream of a professional rugby player.
I think it was just to be in sport. Yeah. I think it was just being able to have a real big driving factor in the sporting realm, and so. I think through time, like when you're 8, geez, you're just trying to figure out if you want a sausage roll after a game. You're not like trying to be a professional rugby player. But I think once I made rep teams and kind of, that 14, 15 range, that kind of, that message, that was not just one time. It was kind of just driven, whenever I'd see him. It just kind of stuck with me. And Dad was really good around it. Like every time we were playing sport, like he was always there. I think when we were younger, he would always... he'd be getting us to draw and pass because the old man couldn't draw and pass. They called him crowbar. So he just instilled a lot of the things that he was really poor at. So, just tried to do that, and
it's cool. Were you always 9?
I played 10. I was 9 and 10, just went through a little bit. So when I was younger, we'd just go between 9 and 10. Ian, the guy that used to coach me all the way through, I just said I love playing 10. As you see, there were a lot of Carlos Spencer, Adrian Murdens, and those guys. So, I found it real beneficial, even at high school in first 15, played a bit of 10. So, I thought it was really good to have an understanding when you're in 9 what your 10 wants and vice versa. So I actually really enjoyed playing 10. So really enjoyed
not
it.
Too late.
Nah, definitely not. Washed up, mate. Washed up. Jeez, you've got to be fast to be a 10.
So were you obviously committed? Like, what sort of commitment did you have throughout those, especially teenage years? Were you right on?
Yeah, I was, and my dad instilled that into me as well. Like, I think, there's a lot of what's the words? You got to make good decisions when you're younger, right? Whether it's going to parties or being able to eat good food or whatever. You've got to make sacrifices. And Dad was pretty good around there and saying that, son, like to make it where you want to, these little things that you do that other people aren't doing, it's going to help you. And so I'll tell you what, fifth form, sixth form was tough though, geez. When the old parties are going and you're going to the old after balls and you're like, oh, geez, it wouldn't be good to have a few right now. So just made those decisions right when I was younger and didn't say that I didn't have really good times, but I was pretty driven in terms of like, look, I think it's probably better if I stay away from that and can make some goals that I wanted to try and do, especially in my high school years.
Yeah, oh, that's interesting because by all accounts you were always pretty gifted with the ladies and probably at that age as well. Like,
who's that come from? Is that an old question, is it? Jeez. I don't know about that.
But that must have been a challenge for you to commit to the rugby dream and fight off all those girls, push them back.
I'd love to know what the comms are around there, the detail. We'll probably go into that on the questions later. But no, that's obviously one part of it. Yeah. And I think just being able to stay focused. I'm not to say that I was a saint, right? You experience things that you need to, but I think the goal and being able to have whatever that was at that time, that was pretty much the driving factor, and nothing really got in the way with it. You enjoy yourself to a certain extent, but the goal was always way bigger than obviously the partying and the girls and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And when did it sort of hit you that we're on here? Like this is going to happen?
I probably got a really good idea. 10. 8 after that chat. I was just in there, just, watching All Black clips and getting the detail and chucking to my coaches. Probably about, I think, 17. I think that it could be a possibility. There was the New Zealand 17s at that time, and I was 16, and they had the first camp, and it was more so just maybe an introduction to what it could look like. There were the best players in New Zealand at that time at 17, all came to a camp, did testing and did scenarios and all that kind of stuff. But the introduction of resource coaches, the introduction of your nutrition, all those kind of things that it comes with going to those camps was just real eye-opening.
Yeah.
And I probably thought this is a possibility, and that's more so when the goals and the aspirations been able to be, this little block here before I leave school, it's a 2-year span. If I can really, hone in here and give myself the best chance to do it, then there could be a chance of being a professional rugby player. So that's probably, I reckon, when the first time I kind of thought it could be a possibility.
I could imagine you turning up to that camp and just eating up all that information and just being absolutely into it.
I had the notebook. I had the book there, just writing down notes. Probably too many notes, things that didn't even have to do anything with it, really. But yeah, I was, I loved writing down notes and that kind of stuff. So,
and then you ended up making New Zealand schools.
Yep.
And then captain New Zealand 20s.
Yep.
So that all happened pretty quickly post school or at school.
Yeah, I think it did. I think any kid coming through when you're at school and you want to play rugby, it's obviously making New Zealand schools, and had the opportunity to do that. We had a really good team in that year. Seems so long ago now. What's that? Jeez, what is it? 14 years ago.
Oh,
time flies, mate.
Yeah.
So I made that team. It was really a proud moment, and I think from year 7 to year 13 to be able to do that was really, really cool. And then to go into South Africa for the New Zealand 20s was an awesome experience, probably one of the worst experiences, because we were the first team to ever lose in a final. Because we had, back in the day, we just run over teams, and we lost this South Africa in the final. They said I was the first captain to lose that, which was an interesting experience. But I think to the under 20s, that was really a good introduction to what it could like if you want to become like an international player, right?
Yeah,
it was. Playing against international teams and singing national anthem, doing your haka, and living a life as a professional rugby player, really, as a 19, 20-year-old. It was a really, really cool experience. So, really enjoyed that.
How'd you go at the tournament personally?
Mate, I was not too bad. I was all right. I think I had a mate, during that year, I had so many injuries, but you just wanted to get out there, right? So I think they called me the mummy, because Jordan Taufua was pretty good at this, back in the day. Geordie would just strap everything up. And for that 20s tournament, I was on that table for about 20 minutes every game. You just get the old side eye, say, get off the table, mate. Jeez, you don't even make tackles. Make 2 tackles a game. I blew my knee out maybe 5 weeks before the comp, the back of my PCL, and Rob was actually the coach. Funny enough, Rob Penny was the coach.
True.
But made the squad and got through that. Did my shoulder actually at the previous camp, subluxed my shoulder, and that took another. That was before. That was in November, and then in April was the other trial. So it was just walking in there kind of just a little bit underdone. So got through it and was able to play, but probably not to where. Level to where I wanted
tough,
to.
Tough though, hey? Showed us toughness.
Just tried to get out there, Jimmy. Just wanted to get out there. So, but it was an awesome experience though.
And how'd you find leading the group at that age?
It was a great learning experience. I think, I'd captained teams before, but I think there's a lot of pressure that does come with it, and you don't have the tools at that age. You're just trying to go out on all field. So Jake Heenan at that time, we were co-captains. He's over and playing at Bristol at the moment, but we were both co-captains, and so it was actually probably great to have him as well, being able to share that experience. And when times were tough, especially in that tournament, they were in the early part of it, being able to go to him and being able to whether we lead all together or not. And we did have a few other guys that were good around leadership, but it was a good eye opener, especially under pressure. What it looked like. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I tried to take that as a learning experience, and it probably set me up a little bit. But then at the same time, at North Harbour, I got given the captaincy, and I got given that way too early.
I remember that.
I got given that way too early. So we'll probably go into a little deeper on that. But it was a good experience for New Zealand. Yeah.
So post that New Zealand 20s tournament, picked up by North Harbour, or were you already in North Harbour at that stage?
Yep. Yeah, I was. Yeah. I was at Auckland Academy first year out of school, and then I think at that time there was Toby Moreland, Piri Weepu, and Albie Mathewson. There were 9s at Auckland, so
true.
I was just like, there's just no way. And so I played all my all my junior rugby at North Harbour and Northcote. But obviously went to school in New Zealand, in Auckland, so that's why I ended up being in Auckland. But from that, went back home and got selected in that, what was it, 2012? Yeah, I was 20. Yeah, that was my first year there. So we won no games. We actually beat Taz. Were you playing that game? 2012, last game?
2012.
2012?
Probably. I think we came last that year, didn't we?
No, we did. We beat you. I think. Well, you might have been playing, but 2012 we won no games the whole year.
Oh, true.
And we played Tasman the last game. And Goody was playing in that.
Oh,
actually.
I was playing. Yeah,
yeah.
I was playing.
Yeah, and we put in a hell of a performance.
I remember that game because I remember Sumo's. Was it Anthony Borrick? Was he playing?
I think he was.
He picked me up and threw me into touch, and Sumo said he threw him out like a gherkin out of a cheeseburger, and the boys used to send me that clip like all the time.
Sumo was good for one-liners, eh? So that was my first year. That was our last game. So, going from, winning games and then going to losing in every single way that you could think of. It was a really eye-opening year for me, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of learning for who was your 10?
Who was our 10? Michael Hobbs.
Oh, yeah.
And James Semple.
Yeah, true.
So they were our 10s.
Young 9s, 10 combos. And
a lot of soul searching. It's a lot of soul searching. So, yeah.
Oh, true. And then you somehow get picked up by the Blues pretty quickly, though, even after, I guess, a struggling first. I guess you weren't struggling. The team was struggling. You were still passing away.
I think I was just living on the laurels of being in the 20s. So, I think, funnily enough, it wasn't the Blues that came to me first. It was actually the Highlanders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Jamie Joseph he was the coach at the time, and it was straight after New Zealand 20s. They pretty much came early doors, and they said, "Look, there's a kid called Aaron Smith that's floating down here at the moment. I think it'd be really beneficial if you came down here, and you two would be a good combo. You could learn from him because I think that year 20, I don't know where he was, but he was obviously making his rise to where he was now, and." I said, "Oh, yep, I really appreciate that. Thanks for that." And I was pretty keen on that idea.
Yeah.
And then, but being an Auckland kid, I think JK and them must have got a whiff of that and just said, "Hey, look, we want to sign you." But not yet. But I think it was more so because the Highlanders had done that, they came over the top. So yeah, could have been at the Highlanders, but I think just wanting to be an Auckland kid, wanted to play for the Blues. So it was in the end, it was a pretty easy decision. But
was it easy to say no to Jamie Joe? I've heard a lot on this. As soon as you have that convo with Jamie, you almost...
That's probably why I didn't make the Mouldies, mate. I didn't make the Mouldies for 4 years because of him, mate. But I probably wasn't actually playing good enough. But nah, I think if I had my time again, because I'd heard things about Jamie, and I probably should have called him.
Yeah.
But I was just that nervous. I was like, geez, I've never really told a coach no or anything. And I heard things about Jamie. So I messaged him and I said, "Jamie, hey, I'm just going to thank you for the opportunity. I'm going in a different direction. But blah, blah, blah." And he said, "No, all good. Appreciate that." But in hindsight, if I would have maybe given him the call, it might have been a bit better because, I think, I've heard some stories.
He's held that over you.
Nah, that's it, mate.
Blacklisted.
You're off, mate. So, no, he's a good man, though. Yeah, he's a really good man, Jamie.
And how'd you find going into the Blues setup?
I loved it. I think I was really lucky my first 2 years. Piri Weepu was there at that time.
Yeah.
So how smart he is as a rugby player. I was just like a sponge. I just asked him questions left, right, and centre for 2 years, and he probably hated it. He's like, just piss off, mate. Just go enjoy yourself. So, yeah, I just learnt so much off Piri. My first year, I broke my jaw, so I didn't get to play, and I got glandular fever in the same time.
Crazy. So
I didn't really I didn't get to play a lot, but I took a lot from Piri in those meetings and just trying to connect with them around how he saw the game. So that was really beneficial in 2013, and then 2014.
Was it you and Gemmo at that?
And Gemmo as well. Yeah, Gemmo was there as well.
Yeah.
Gemmo.
So it was you two sort of fighting for that.
Pretty much,
spot.
We were. So the first year Gemmo pretty much played all the games because I was injured.
Yeah.
And then the second year, I just can't I would just went into the offset. I was like, "Mate, you've got Paul here. You're off contract. You haven't seen a lot of you. You've just got to, really just get your ass in the gear and being able to at least do something." So I just worked really hard in the off season, put on a bit of weight, and just was really, really fit. So I came in really fit for that season and did really well in the fitness testings, all the stuff that you want to do to be able to try and impress people to at least get an opportunity, right, in the preseason phase to get a game. So I did really well in the preseason. And then Jamison got injured, so we kind of went in a different way. Jamison got injured, so giving me an opportunity to play under Piri. And then played a few games here and there, and then we went to South Africa and we played the Lions. It was maybe the fourth or fifth game, and I came on the 30th minute and probably just had one of my best games to date. Had an outstanding game, really, really good. Line breaks, just being able to try assists and just being able to feel confident that actually if I do things right, I can actually go right here.
Yeah.
So I got really big confidence from that, and then came off the bench a couple more times, and then Piri had a procedure. I think he had a clot or something.
That's right. Yeah.
And so he was out for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And so we got told that, and I was like, "Well, Bryn, mate, you're up for 4 weeks." And it's probably knowing within that confidence that if I had 4 weeks to try and at least have a chance to start and being able to give myself an opportunity to be a Super Rugby player.
Yeah.
And I think it would have been different if it was like a 1 or 2 year, one or two game.
Yeah.
That I know Piri would have come back. It was like, I've got a bit of leeway here. But even if I play shit, at least I'll be able to play.
Takes that full pressure off.
Full pressure.
Every guy who gets, you get your 1 week opportunity. It's so hard.
It is hard.
You've got to you almost try and overplay because you're like, I need to do something to keep my spot. I can't just have a normal game. I'm going to lose it anyway.
Yeah, and that, even if it's a young guy playing well and if it's an All Black, you know that he's going to come back, right? Yeah. So, I had a really good 4 week span. So, and then Piri ended up coming back, but then he ended up being on the bench for the most of the year.
True.
So it was really awesome for me.
Yeah.
So to be able to experience, and Piri had been really good in that space to help me out and to grow my game. That was probably the first 2 years that I played really well, and then probably the next 2 years I found I stalled once he left.
Yeah.
Got injured in 2015, and then I came back in 2016, my last year at the Blues, but for whatever reason I just felt that I wasn't getting my game where I wanted it to.
You started a lot that year though, eh?
Yeah, I did. But I just felt in myself, like, man, I don't feel myself like getting any better.
Yeah.
Like the progression that I had in my first 2 years to where I was in my next 2 years, I was the same player. I didn't feel I was getting any better.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's probably just the way that I saw the game.
Yeah.
I'm a very big yellow dot, and so like there's a reason I need to know why. So why are we going here? What's the position of the field we need to get to? So that's how I thought about the game, and probably at that time it was probably seen as a detriment.
Yeah,
I was overthinking, and they were saying, they were just saying this, like, we just want you to play. I'm like, mate, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean? Just play.
Yeah.
So just with the way that I think, I need to know the shoulder I'm getting to, the pass we're getting to, or whatever it may be.
Were you always like that, even at school and younger?
I think so. Yeah,
oh, mate, you were.
Oh, not 8, probably 9. But I think just when I was younger, that's what I just always asked questions and wanted to know why we were doing things. And so probably just didn't get that kind of coaching in that, at that time.
Yeah.
So I think when I left there, when I was obviously coming down to the Crusaders, I was just like, I felt my game. I'm at a good spot. I'm experienced. I've played 30, 40 odd games, but I want to go to the next level. So
what was the reason behind that move?
So it was my last year, and it might have been the third game. So it was the third game, and Tana was the coach at the time. Oh, anytime you got the old, come meet me in the office, you just knew, oh man, this is not good news. You're either going to get dropped, or there's no good news coming out of this. So I'm like, rightio, got the old headgear on and the mouth guard on, and just getting ready to sit down in the office. Sits me down, and to his credit, he was really, really good about it. At that time, Billy Guyton was signed. Sam Knock was coming through with a really good young kid at that time. Yeah. And I was the only halfback that was off contract. And he sat me down and he goes, oh, look, Bryn, look, mate, we love where you're at, but we're looking to go in a different direction. We want Augustine Pulu. Oh, yeah. And so obviously, look, Tana had a really good affiliation with him at Counties and what they've done together. So I understood that. And so we're just going to give you the opportunity early in the season to tell you, and then you can do whatever you want around there with other teams and other contracts. Just give you the opportunity. Sure. And I said, I really, really appreciate that. Is this going to be at all detriment to like me playing in this year just because of this direction that you guys are going? He said, no, mate, not at all. Like, best man will play and we'll do that for the rest of the year. And I was like, oh, perfect. So I really do respect Tana to be able to do that. Yeah. I think some coaches can maybe leave it to the late piece and really just shaft you to the side. But to his credit, he was really good around presenting that to me. And, for the rest of the year, I could just concentrate on it and then, moved on to the next year.
Did you find that affected your form at all, or nah?
No, not at all, because I knew that I was coming down to the Crusaders.
Oh, you'd already signed that early.
Well, no, after that. So that conversation had happened, and then my agent Ports, I told him, and then he said, oh, yep, sweet, I'll go to work. And then he came back pretty quickly and saying that the Crusaders were keen, because I think it was Andy Ellis's last year, and he was heading off to Japan. So I think knowing that there was an opportunity to go to a club pretty early doors after that news, it made it a lot easier to just concentrate on performing.
Easy days. And what was it like when you came down?
My first is honestly when I had the first couple of weeks, was like, man, I wish I came down here earlier. Oh yeah, because just with the way if I go back to when I said the way that I was thinking and the way that I probably felt I was just at a stopgap. Yeah, the information that I was coming in, the way that I thought of the game was exactly the same as how the boys were thinking of the game. Yeah. So I'm just going into meetings and like, Ryan Crotty's there at that time, and he's just like saying all the things that I'm thinking, but more in a more better way. And I'm like, oh, geez, like, man, holy heck. So my mind was just absolutely blown up to like, man, there's all this information, all this smart thinking, all the little details that I'm thinking about and talking about. It's being talked about in our unit meetings, in our team meetings, the alignment around the coaches and whatnot. So I'm just like, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was my first impression. I was like, shit, why did I not come down here earlier? Yeah. That's cool. I was really, really excited when I first got down here.
And your opportunity, obviously you and Drummy had a, 7-year battle, 6-year battle over the starting 9 jersey.
Yeah.
Talk me through what that relationship was like, the competition was like. Yeah. Weekly, I guess.
It was fierce, man. Like it was demanding of you, right?
Yeah.
Man, because we were just so competitive, the both of us.
Yeah.
But we always had a really good respect for each other. And I remember that my first year we were down there, I don't even think Drummy remembers this. He's probably that blind that night, actually. Aikman's back in the day was actually, and during the preseason period, the boys might not do it now, but when we were younger, we were all probably similar age and, boys didn't have girlfriends at that time or wives at that time. Some of them did, but, we were quite young. So you used to do a double during your preseason. So November period, that was really good. You finish on a Friday, boys would get down to Aikman's, have a few beers, and then some of the young fellas, they'd go again on the Saturday. But I think it was within the first couple of weeks in our preseason, I don't know, me and Drummy, we were just, talking on the field and, being mates and that kind of stuff. But I think when we had a few beers, it was just more so, I remember him just saying, really happy that you're down here, but, we're going to compete. We're going to compete. I'm like, mate, we're on the same page here, brother. We're on the same page. So I think that kind of, for me, it was just like, coming from Christchurch and him being down in this environment, just that kind of acknowledgement that we're on the same page. But the biggest credit that I find with that whole situation is that we went hammer and tongs for 6 years, but whoever got the job and whoever was starting, that's right. How do I set you up? How do I set you up to go well on the weekend and vice versa? So not many, it's pretty hard. I don't know many people that would be able to do that.
Yeah.
But this is a club that does that thing, not just with myself and Drummy, but there's so many other stories around. It's been able to, how can I set you up? How can I help you? Even if you're not starting or even on the squad.
It's so important, Like it's such an underrated, I guess, attribute to be able to do is to be able to compete so hard for a starting spot, but then still support, I remember Cam Roygard on a few weeks ago was talking about him and TJ, and I see very similar around two really competitive players just going at it each week, wanting to start.
Oh, mate, like the preseason, mate, you have all that time off and the Broncos and all those tests, you just want to give it an inch, eh? So like the amount of getting up and just going early in the morning, just trying to be fit and just know that I've got day one just coming in, I've got Drummond just floating around, doing the same mindset, like how am I going to get one up on the sky? So there's a lot of things like that, right? Where you just like,
drumming in your head every morning.
He was, mate. He was in my head. You also want to be an All Black as well, but just like, man, I can't give this guy an inch.
Yeah.
Because if you give him an inch, give him a mile.
Yeah, and you were living with Jack Goodhue at the time, were you? Because, geez, I love the chicken yarn, obviously.
Oh, mate. He almost killed us. And he was so stubborn in the fact that we were playing, the other times we just connected there. I'm like, mate, like, you could have killed us. And I spent a year with Jack. I love that year with Jack, eh?
Yeah.
A lot of people actually think, like, Jack and Bryn, like, when we first moved in together, like, how does this work? Like, you got Jack, who's probably on the complete different spectrum of where Bryn's at in his life and vice versa. But it worked really, really well. Yeah.
He's low-key one of the funniest guys, I reckon. Like, just so good.
His humour,
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
Good value.
Yeah, he is. So, he was, it was a great year with him. He I think the things that I taught him that year actually probably made him become an All Black. I've always told him that. He wasn't the same person that year out without me. So
he wasn't an All Black going
He
in.
wasn't.
He came out an All Black.
The conversations that we had, the Shakti mat that introduced to him. I didn't introduce that to him. He would have taken the piss out of that. But I always said, the reason why Jack Goodhue became an All Black was that 12 months he was living with me. Not just on the field, but off the field.
You did the same with Will Jordan too, did you?
Well, the amount of passing skills I had to do with that kid. Jeez, couldn't pass the ball when he was younger. So
he was a halfback.
The draw and pass, mate. The guy couldn't draw and pass, especially where it was left to right. But we were on that crazy trap during COVID. Me, Tom, Christian, we were just out there just doing skills every day. So yeah. But he's not too bad now. Well, he goes all right, doesn't he?
No, he's all right. Who else did you live with down here?
No, it was just them, and then lived with my partner for the last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So how did you guys meet? You and your partner?
Me and my partner, we just met through mutual friends, eh?
Did you?
Yeah, we did. So what was it, 2020?
Oh yeah,
2020. Yep.
4 years stint.
Yeah. Embarrassing though, mate. The first time like she came to a game, you would have seen that vid, eh? When I've dropped the ball over the line.
Oh yeah, Josh Mackay one.
Josh Mackay one. So that's the first game that Sam came and watched me. So that was actually a real embarrassing game for me.
Actually did well to stay with you.
Oh, I actually did, absolutely. I'm just thinking, oh, man. The worst thing about that is I just got dragged straight after it.
Did you? What time was it?
It was pretty much around that kind of 15-minute mark. And even before that happened, like I saw Drummy warm and I was like, I've got a couple of minutes here. And then this has just played out and happened, and then just get there. You're off, mate.
That's harsh though. Like he's clearly whacked it out. Like.
Oh, mate, it doesn't matter. Finish the job, mate.
What would you have done differently?
Transferred the ball, hold on to the ball for my life. Just knowing that Josh Mackay's coming over. So
haunts.
That was a long 6 months. That was my last game as well. Before that was our last game, that was the finals. So it was a long 6 months to the next game.
Yeah. Oh, so then you met, she came and watched your game, and then
she stayed with me.
Yeah, it was love.
So, thankfully,
knew it was love after
Knew it was love. So now we bought a house together. So thankfully she stayed with me. So thanks, Sammy.
How good. And you mentioned the All Blacks before, and that's something that's come up quite a bit, is around, I guess, conversations that you had with the All Blacks, or I guess the question came in a lot was, how did you never become an All Black, or what held you back from becoming an All Black? Because many thought you were probably good enough to be an All Black for a long period, but what were the conversations behind closed doors?
To be honest, there wasn't a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
There were obviously key work-ons that I think, because he was the coach, Shag was the coach at the time.
Yeah.
And there was a way that he saw maybe my game. Because I'll ask you a question. What did you think my game was at that time?
Fast, crisp pass.
Yeah, crisp pass. So that was probably the message that I got, was probably it wasn't.
Oh, slow pass.
So I was a running 9.
Oh wow.
That was the mindset around me.
Okay.
So, hearing that news, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to try work on that. So 2018 was probably one of my best years, is that just fully focused on that, being able to get the ball out fast and being able to just bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
So I did that really, really well in 2018. But at that time, there was Teach, Aaron Smith, and Tawara Kubala was there at that time.
Yeah.
And then went to 2019, same thing. And then I think, was it 2018? Yeah, I think 2018, I got selected to go over, but didn't strip. But then I think I think at that time, unfortunately, I was just at a time where there was just some really good nines, and I think in that period of time with TJ and Aaron, there was probably a little bit of wiggle room in terms of being able to have a young person that's coming in.
Yeah.
So for a couple of years, there was Triple T was there.
That's right.
And Love Trips, but at that time, he played a few games, but I knew that the reason why is because you had Aaron and TJ, and they're probably going to play. Let's get a young fella, and if there are injuries in maybe 2 years' time, this is the new way it goes. So it was probably just that detriment to me at that time. Like, I was playing my best footy, and possibly could have been warranted, obviously, playing on my performances. But just the fact that TJ and Aaron didn't get injured, and that's what they saw Trip as, it was just a bad time for me at that stage. So
true. So you weren't having many conversations. It was just
not a lot.
Speed up your pass.
Yeah, speed up my pass. So I tried to do that, right? But I think I just knew. Look, unless Aaron and TJ get injured, this is the direction they're going with Trip. He's the next guy off the rank. This is where they might see another Aaron. And for that 2 years that he was in there, I was playing my best footy, but those other boys weren't getting injured.
When did you realise that the All Black dream might not happen? Because you obviously stayed in New Zealand for a long time.
Yeah.
With a decent crack.
Yeah, I did. I think probably So probably the best year, I think, for me to make the All Blacks was probably 2021 when someone left, and it's when Finlay ended up coming in.
Oh yeah.
But at that time in 2021, I just got some really bad injuries that, again, going back to the under-20s story, I just couldn't play where I wanted to. So I think I got my ribs in the first part of preseason. They got pretty banged up early doors, so wasn't feeling being able to play really well in that sense. Then I broke my back. I don't know that I broke my back.
Yeah, spinal.
Yeah, spinal. So I didn't know that I broke it, right? I was just, someday, I think I played a round of golf with Sammy's old man. I swung the club. It was early doors in the season. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I'll be all right. And I came to on Monday, and I couldn't walk. And I'm like, shit, what's happened here? So I went to go see Doc and the Tux and Neil. So Tux and Rochi. I don't know what's wrong with my back. I just can't walk.
Yeah.
So they did the treatments and whatnot, and they gave me some Norflex and muscle relaxants. And I was like, oh, the pain isn't that bad, but like it's still sore. I can't really run. So on a Monday, like you guys have clarity on a Monday, like we got a name for the team. We gets played the Hurricanes. And the way that I was running, I just got taken the piss out of me. I said, Paul, like, get out of first gear, mate. I couldn't get out of first gear. Like, I'm trying to, I just can't run. I'm just poddling along. And then like comes to like the Tuesday, and I've got like anti-flams and some Norfolk, some painkillers.
Yeah. And
going to the spa pool at like 6 o'clock in the morning just to get the old Gary Jack just warmed up. And then just got through the game. But I was
Did you play with it?
I played with it.
Oh, fuck.
I played with it the whole year.
Shit.
So I didn't know like until the end of the year.
What sort of break was it?
Like there must have been like a stress fracture.
Yeah.
And that episode at the golf must have just like just smashed it.
Right.
And then like for the rest of the year, I didn't know. Just like going to the spa pool at like 6 o'clock and like doing hardly any weights, just like trying to get on the field.
Yeah.
And so then I ended up finding out that it was broken. But that was probably my best year because there was just a wiggle room. There was a reason the trip wasn't probably doing the job that the All Blacks were wanting, and there was that third ranked 9 to have a chance. So Drummy was playing really well that year, and Finn was the other guy as well at that time, and myself. So. And I just couldn't perform. I just wasn't. That was my chance, but I was injured. So
was that the year Drummy became an All Black?
No, he did 2018. But Drummy and myself, like we probably like in hindsight right now, if I think about it, we probably like cancelled each other out.
Yeah.
Because the amount of times probably that we played, like we had a pretty clear like 50 and 55, and then we play 30. So like if someone's actually getting into a really good rhythm, you've had a good game, but you probably knew that like for the better of the team, you need to bring someone else, and that's where our real point of difference was by the both of us.
Combo.
But then Finn, probably at the Blues or whoever was at that time, was playing the halfback. They just get a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
So it's been able to see that, and probably it might be the 60th minute. Like, man, they've had two good influences here.
Yeah.
Whereas you're just finding your rhythm, but then you get off for the better of the team. But probably 2021 was my best chance, but just physically, man, I felt like shit, so couldn't do it.
And post that year, is that when you decided to head to Japan or start looking?
Yeah, so after that 2021, I was like, look, man, been here 10 years, had a really, really good crack, tried my best. And it probably just became a little bit hard in terms of like just motivation-wise. Like, the All Black dream is a pretty high motivating factor, right, for a lot of players.
Yeah.
And I think when that's probably it, it's like, oh, what's your driving factor? And for me in that, I changed the mindset, right, I want to go out on a really good note here and went on to win a championship and been able to just like leave my mark here that, at least I came here as an outsider, came here as a Crusader, finished my time here as a Crusader, known as a Crusader.
Yeah.
And so had that conversation with Ray pretty early doors in that 2022 season. We're both on the same, like he said, obviously, Bryn, look, mate, your aspirations were to become an All Black. And I was like, I'm on the same page. I said, mate, but I just don't know, like what my driving factor is now. I think it's time to be able to experience different things and being able to put all my energy into something else. 'Cause it's really hard to get up every day right now. I've got also Drummond, coming in preseason. I don't know if I could do it for another preseason, Ray. I'm over it. I'm over the Broncos and everything. So we were pretty mutual around that early in the year.
Yeah.
And then probably like midway through that last year, my Crusaders was talking with Yamaha pretty a lot. So, and then you made that decision. But even then, I told the Crusaders real late.
Did you?
Told them on the final. Because I just didn't want them to.
Before it or after?
Before it. Yeah. I didn't I think they knew. I went on conversations and like they were talking around like having me back as well. And I was like, that's great to be able to try and come back as well. But I thought, if I tell them earlier, are they going to like sack me? Am I going to like, we're not going to be playing? Because it was so tight between me and Joey, right? And it's just not trying to give it an inch.
Yeah.
So I actually didn't tell them to the final week. So once I was named on the Monday, I said, I'm actually going to Japan as well.
And then you probably played the best game of your career in that final.
Yeah,
against the Blues. Oh,
it was a real if there's one game in my life that it all kind of came together, it was probably that game.
Do you think that was a part of it, like the whole Japan and telling them and just being free? And I don't know. Oof.
I think it was. Some games you just have, right? It just everything works for you.
Yeah.
You just there's a feeling before a game, or it might be the first 10, 15 minutes. You're like, I'm in for a good day here.
Yeah.
And the rain probably helped us all because that's one of my strengths is the kind of wet weather games and game management and box kicks. At that time, we were doing that a lot.
Yeah.
And just the feel of the game, it just all kind of worked.
Yeah.
And being my last game at home, being in Auckland, my mum and dad, I played my first game against the Crusaders at Eden Park.
Sure.
And for it to be my last game, it was pretty funny how
in a final,
and that was a hell of a day. We played really well that day.
Yeah, it was an absolute clinic. And Were you thinking post that around, obviously the big games, the finals are games where the selectors are watching probably the most closely. We've seen that recently with the naming of the side. But post that game, are you thinking, shit, man, I maybe should have stayed, or were you already done then?
No, I was done, Like hindsight's a great thing, right?
Yeah.
I remember Scotty Hansen actually said to me as well, straight after the game, he said, mate, you left your best game to last. Like, you're in good form, son. You've had your best couple of games here, mate. You're leaving. But no, by that, like, there's been so many times, right, where I thought that was going to be a possibility, and it just didn't happen. And I think,
how long do you hold on?
How long do you hold on? And I got to there when I was 30 at that time. And I was just like, no, I'm ready to go. Yeah. And what a way to go out. Yeah. What a way to go out.
Oh, the legacy lives on.
I don't have that legacy. It's like, geez, he's gone. Thank God.
And then how'd you find Japan?
I really loved it, eh?
Yeah.
It's an interesting place, though. Depending on where you go.
Yeah.
I was in a really rural town, like, mate, one cafe, one restaurant, like a really small country town. But I loved it. Like, the foreigner group's really important. I think, for guys that do end up going over, it's important to have the really good foreigner group. And we had some great Kiwis, some South Africans, and some Australians. And because you're all on the same page, no different from actually when, some of the people come from Tasman or anywhere over in New Zealand, you come into a city and you end up doing the same things together. But it's probably even amplified in that environment. Because you can't, they don't speak, especially where we were in Iwata. No English speaking.
Really?
No English.
No, you have translators?
Have translators, but on everyday life, like you go to a bank, you go to anything.
Admin.
Oh, yeah. So you learn pretty quickly. So the old Google Translator was used for the first 6 months pretty heavily. So
did you learn it?
Yeah.
Can you speak it?
Bits and pieces, to be able to get by. So got really good in the back end of the year. You can just like understand the boys' conversations, not the whole detail around it, but what they're actually talking about. Like, they're talking about that, and it's really good. I really loved it. Cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Can you speak Māori?
I probably speak better Japanese than I can Māori. Unfortunately, my dad, like, we probably weren't brought up in a Māori house, more so the European side, but have a real respect for my Māori side. But probably just don't know enough. Did it at school, but just kind of gone away from it.
Yeah, we didn't even touch on your Māori experience, but what was that like playing for?
Oh, it was awesome. Oh man, I held it in such high regard when I was younger. My dad, All Blacks were important, but the Māori All Blacks was always big around our household, and I think him being from Tauranga and being Māori, real big Māori community down in Tauranga, that side of, especially where we're from, on my dad's side. And I applied my tried for ages trying to crack that team. Jamie Joe, obviously, their conversation, just held me off for a couple of years. Nah, sorry, Jamie. But I made it my first year in 2017, and we played the British and Irish Lions. That was my first game.
Oh, what a game!
So
was it Jamie coaching him?
Nah, it was Colin Cooper. Colin Cooper at the time. So that was my first experience. Tawara Kubalu came back from the All Blacks and played that game. I came off the bench, but just to be able to go through like that whole culture, the stories, the waiata, the huckers, and that whole week what it was involved, playing the British and Irish Lions as well. Yeah. Packed out Rotorua, like fog coming through. It was just all set up for being Māori at that time. So 2017 was the first game, and then was fortunate enough to play a few more games for them. And every time you get to put it on, no different if you're an All Black or whatever, like every time you're in the Māoris camp, you go to put the jersey on. It just felt a little bit more in the Māoris for me, because obviously there's so much talk around the history and ancestry. Yeah. You can almost feel it every time you put on the jersey, and you've got similar guys who are in that mindset as well, to be able to go out for your people. And that's what's always driven in that group. You're not just playing for yourself, but you're playing for the Māori people and our people.
Powerful, mate.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed it, loved it. So we had some really good trips as well. So Chile and Brazil was a really good one. I loved that one.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, it was a good one. Yeah, it was good. We had a massive, I think, who was it? Hoani Martinga was in the squad at the time, and we're in Chile. Like, look, we're going to put 50 on these guys. But it was what it was. And after the game, there's a big Tomorrowland concert.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrowland.
Yeah.
Hopper had sorted it out. I don't know how he did it, but we ended up going straight after the game. We put in a good performance against Chile, smoked them, and then we'd come from there, and then we got put onto a bus, and we pretty much went to like a VIP kind of setup, and Hoppers just put us in a hell of a setup there for the whole concert. It was just buzzing. It was like Tomorrowland. Yeah. So it was a hell of a night.
Just living. Living the good
just
life.
Out there in Chile, just bop. So it was good. It was good.
Oh, good times, eh? Good times traveling.
Yeah.
And then So Japan, you were 2 years in Japan?
Yep. Yeah. 2 years and then just going through a little bit of it now. So looking to get back, want to get back there. Yeah. So, but they might be able to like squeeze out a couple of games for Harbour. I'm pretty close to 100 games there.
Oh yeah.
So if I get the chance to do that and then head back over to Japan, that'd be
What
pretty
are you
good.
on there?
I'm on 89.
89.
Yeah. So we'd have to go.
You have to squeeze a few.
We'd have to squeeze one quarterfinal.
Oh yeah.
So
is that the plan? You're looking to play in PC?
I think so. Yeah. I think to have that. I always wanted to try to do that while I was in Japan, but at the club that I was at, they're probably just fair enough. Like, we don't want you to go play, but yeah, I think we're just with right now, just being, if I do go back to Japan, it's having that opportunity to play for North Harbour and just get because I want to tick it off. Like, there's only 5 Centurions, and especially this day and age, like I don't know how many people are going to be Centurions at minor 10. So at Bunnings NPC now, sorry.
And Drummy's going to be 100.
I saw he finished on 99.
He's on 99.
Finished on 99.
So you won't want him to get the.
Nah, he deserves it, mate. He's actually been here the whole time. So, yeah, we did talk about that actually. I played golf with him a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, he needs it. Yeah, it's great. It's great achievement.
But you're pretty close to 100 here too, aren't you?
Mate, I think that's one regret that I probably will have. Like, you don't know that, right, until like you're into the deep of it. But yeah, 93. Yeah, it would have been really nice to get 100. I think every time you kind of walk down, especially at Addington, when you walk down, you see all the Centurions, and even in the gym. Yeah, it'd be
Hall of Fame day.
Well, so if there's probably one, I don't have any regrets in my career, but I think if that I end up finishing up and not being able to do that, there might be probably one that I will have.
Oh, well, you're saying there's a chance to come back. Oh. Hey?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, if it's amazing how things work out. If it ends up working out, I guess to maybe have that opportunity, it'd be pretty hard to turn down. Yeah, I think if it all worked out, do you know? If it was there, yeah, possibly.
All right, well, Ryan Crotty was recruited on this podcast. He was recruited. So, mate,
you got a good 9 though at the moment. You've got a good 9 coming through the system though. He's had a hell of a year. Yeah, he's got a big future. I really enjoyed watching him this year.
What other 9s have impressed you? Obviously, Gun.
Oh man, Noah's really impressed me this year. Yeah. Cortez Ratima has had a great year. I think he really rewarded from his last month, especially in the big finals footy. Played really well in those games. You got Xavier Rowe, that battle. You got a couple of those guys down south. Yeah. Ascot and there's an Ascot and can't remember the other guy's name, but there's good 9s. Like, it's a really good time to be a 9 in New Zealand, man. Like, it'd be great to be in this kind of window now. I think with Nuggy leaving, TJ is getting on, not too sure what his plans are. Brad Webber's gone, Drummy's, been here during this battle as well. I've buggered off. So it's a really good chance. So, but I've really enjoyed watching Noah this year. Yeah. Just being a Crusaders as well and obviously watching from afar. Yeah. I think his game and where he's got to, especially the back end of the year. Yeah, I think it's not far away, the old mate. So
it's pretty special. Yeah. For sure. And last question for you before we get into the real questions. Life after rugby. Obviously, everyone probably predicts you to be a TV presenter. You'll be working on Sky commentary, something like that, but coaching potentially as well.
Yeah. Smart. I think those two. I think that's the way it's looking. I think to have the opportunity to still do my podcast and being able to have that avenue, I really, really enjoy it. I love talking about rugby, and our podcast is really good to do that. Yeah. But then at the same time, I look at, like, I don't know if I'm being too big-minded around where I'd love to go, but I love seeing like TV presenting and that. Yeah. But that's really, obviously, you've got to have some qualifications to do that kind of stuff. But I think just, that could be, I'd love to do those kind of things. I'd love to be able to do that. Yeah. But then I love coaching as well. I think in the back end of your years, even now, like you end up coaching anyway. Yeah. Coaching the young guys coming through. I love the detail and the game, and being able to go deeper with watching clips and being able to see how can you beat teams defensively and in attack. Yeah. So yeah, I definitely feel that's probably the two things that I'd go into.
Couple of good options. If you could say your dream job in 2 years, not 2 years, whenever you're finished, what would it be to walk into?
Shit, that's actually a really hard question, eh? Man, that's a really hard question because I haven't made a decision around what ones I think it's going to be.
Try them both and see which ones.
I think so, yeah. I think
You might be the first coach, commentator, and presenter in the same game, mate.
Well, mate, here's the blueprint, eh? Doing a podcast and coaching.
Podcasts on the sideline during the game.
That's it, mate. Yeah, I do. I think if I did go in coaching, right, I think it's been able to, especially in the short term, it's been able to be in a really good place where you can learn.
Yeah.
Like, I look at yourself being here in Christchurch, and any coaches that really have come down here, right, been really fast-tracked in terms of, like, your coaching, because I just know as a player when I was here, the amount of learning and the alignment the coaches and the players had and what you're learning every day.
Yeah.
You could probably test this of how much you're learning, how much you're progressing really quickly in this environment. So I think when I do go into coaching, whether it's starting off in resources or wherever it's in Japan, to be a really good coach, I want to be under people that I can learn off. And like I said with my rugby, learning off Piri and learning off people like that.
Yeah.
I want to learn and I want to be great. So if I did do that, that's what it would probably look like. So hopefully those opportunities would come.
Oh, I'm sure they will, mate,
Hopefully.
especially after this. People listening, like,
Yep.
holy heck,
Yep.
this guy's
Yep.
right on. Okay, well, we have gone to our questions, and I know you think I'm lying, but we have had thousands come in, plenty. You've answered a few of them, actually. One of them was around coming back to Harbour. There's a lot of Harbour faithful listeners really hoping you do get back there. So you've answered that. You're going to play a big year, get to 100 and go from there. This one you sort of went through as well. Would you sign with the Crusaders on a draft?
Who's that from?
Matt Todd.
Is that it actually? Oh, mate, like I said, any chance to be able to come back, right? Could probably take his third party. Is he rocking around in a Hyundai? Yeah, take that off your toddy. Then we can start talking.
There you go,
100%,
Toddy.
100%, mate.
Okay, next one. Keen to hear some yarns about the level of detail Scott Hansen goes into a game prep with you.
Jeez, we got the whole. How long we got? Now, Scotty was so good. I think we actually had him on our podcast, and the reviews that we have in our comment section is around now, like obviously how detailed and like how Scotty is. Scotty was really good around, like, he was honest with you, and he would never ever let you rest on your laurels. Like, if you've had a good game and you're sitting back in your chair, like, they say, "Oh yeah, son, think you've had a good game, are you? Can't sit on the front of your seat anymore, can you?" I'm like, "Oh shit, okay, got to get on the front of my seat." So the amount of clips like that he would show you during training week, during games, after games, because he wants you to be the best you can be. And I think as players, we really respect that, because he only wants you to be the best you can. But if you're not to the standard where he's wanting you and what you've agreed on at the start of the year, he's going to push you to that. And if you don't live to that, you're not going to play.
Yeah.
So I loved that accountability that he had. It was tough at times. Like, look, mate, it's tough to be able to be in that mindset consistently every single day, but he would drive you towards that.
Yeah.
So that's what I loved about Scotty. And just he always, anytime you wanted to be able to connect around skills, passing, he'd drop everything, he'd come down and see you. And I'm a visual learner as well, so the amount of clips that he'd have for me, and I'd be able to challenge around that and vice versa, it was really, really good for my game, and not only for myself, but drumming as well, probably the other nines that were here. You just knew that he cared about you, and the amount of work that he did behind the scenes, you respected that.
Yeah.
And you had a real care level for him.
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
He's such a good coach, and stoked to see him in the All Black team. It's going to be interesting to see how that goes.
Well, again, he's going to be honest.
Yeah, he's going to be honest.
Jeez, get your headgear on for some reviews, lads. But it's good though. You've experienced it.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
No, he is. He taught me so much. Okay, next one. Big fan, Bryn. Do you have any nicknames? Please explain.
Is that from Johnny Foley?
It says anonymous.
Oh, it's like, it's Johnny Foley. It's Johnny Foley. Brenner. I think Brenner's pretty well known. Hall. Yeah, last name. Scooter Barrett actually loves calling me that. Hall. Actually, it was called a lot just when I do something bad. It's Hall. He's at it again. Jordan actually calls me that quite a bit as well. Brenner, Hall. I think in Japan, I think that's where he's getting to. If it's from him, Nakamura.
Oh yeah, what's that mean?
It was just my Japanese name, so the Japanese boys gave me a Japanese name. So yeah,
well, there's got to be more to it than that.
Oh, there is. There is.
You can't give me your first name with an A and your last name as your two.
Johnny Foley. I think did it say N on? Yeah, it's Johnny Foley. Good on you, mate. I think just whenever have a bit of lemon sours or the strong zeros there.
Oh yeah.
Turn into a bit of an alter ego called Nakamura. So make some good decisions. So
those are strong drinks.
You would have had a few, eh?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Man, one night almost killed me, I reckon.
Did you have the 9s? The 9%?
The 9. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for our viewers, for the viewers, the strong zeros are a thing that you can buy at 7-Eleven. Yeah. And they cost about $1.50, and then 9%ers are about that big. And yeah, they're it's a good night, but it's a short night. if that's your choice for the whole night, just that one.
It's a bad night.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Most rogue off-field performance.
Most rogue. Who's that one? Yeah. Most rogue. I've probably got one actually. We were in where were we? We were in Argentina. So at this time we were Argentina. We played. Who did we play? I think it was at that time. Yeah, the Jaguares. Played the Jaguares at this time. We had a bye.
Oh yeah.
The next week, so we had a 2-week tour. I think we played in South Africa, and then we flew to Argentina. And we, as a group, even the coaches, the management, everybody was out.
Oh really?
We were all out. So our liaison officer at the time, he took us to this bar, and we went to that bar. It was about like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, really quiet. But I think in Argentina, like it doesn't start pumping till about 2 to about 4.
Oh shit!
So it goes pretty late in the piece. So we're there having a few drinks, and our curfew was at the time was 4 o'clock, which is pretty good this day and age. Like especially the Crusaders, like we never had good curfews. Like Joe Moody, Luke Romano, just can't give you anything, man. It's like 12:30 curfews. Like, mate, we're just getting home at 11 o'clock. Give us some wiggle room.
It needs 5 strong.
Oh man, White Lock is good for it as well. Jeez, I know you guys are sorted, man, but a lot of young guys want to be out there doing it, man. So anyway, we were out this night, and the whole team was out. And Ronan O'Gara was the coach at the time. And Rog enjoyed a few beverages in his time, but we were at this club, and I really started to pump up and be really, really good. And Rog was pissed, and he's like, he said, boys, if there's ever a time to come together and get through a curfew and not be at 4 o'clock, it's today. We're not leaving. And the kind of Wolf of Wall Street chant. So a few of us have taken it literally, right? And we're like, yeah, you're right, Rog. If it comes from you, like, it's real powerful, like, if it comes from you, mate, I think we're on here. And so, he's been a cat. He's just been like, he just said that, and he's just kind of gone into the background. But some of us took that literally, right? Yeah. So, should I name them? Yeah, I'll name them. Bugger it. So, myself, David Harvilli, George Bridge, and Braden Enor.
Oh, the crew.
The crew at this time. We were kind of on a pick, like, right here, when this happens, like, we'll just, we'll end up staying here. And then, so the security guard's rounding everybody up, and I'm like, me and David together. I don't think David remembers this actually, but we're both, had a good night. Just obviously had a big one. And it's like, oh no, I'm with you, mate. Like, don't worry about it. I'm with you. I'm like, right, I'm just gonna go toilet, come back and we're on. He's like, yeah, right here. So I go to the toilet, and this is about just popping on 4 o'clock. So they're doing the roundup.
Yeah.
I've gone off the toilet, and then I've come back, and I'm just like, where is everyone? Where's Dave? Where's DR? And so he's been dragged by the security guard. He's the last one to get dragged. So he's been dragged to the bus. And so I'm just standing in this club in Argentina about like 4:15. So, where is everyone?
Where's Rog?
Where's Rog? Where's everyone? And I've come outside. I'm like, okay, everybody must have gone. So right, I'm off. And the bus is gone. So the bus was there the whole time. So everybody's in that bus, and I'm the only one that hasn't left of the bus. And so I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, okay, right. So I got my taxi, got back there. I thought I got away with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why I thought I got away with it, because the coaches and everybody was on the bus like, where's Bryn? He's not in there. So I ended up going back to the bus, got home, and then I get a knock on the door the next morning. There wasn't a knock on the door. I was just walking past, and Sam Whitelock had come through.
Yeah.
And he goes, Brenner. I knew where this was going. I was like, yeah, mate. And he goes, what time did you get home last night? And I was like, just after 4. What time was the bus leaving? 4? He said, yeah. You got to go see Ray. And I was like, yeah, it's fair. So ended up going. Oh, you just know what's coming, right? And it's like, yeah, that's fair, rightio. So go and see Ray. And I know, we both know. He's like, mate, like 4 o'clock. Talked about it, and I was like, yeah, rightio. Whatever the punishment, that's fair enough. Like, just wasn't home. So, see, we're gonna sit you. We're gonna drop you, but we were gonna rest you because we're playing the Sunwolves. So it's actually not a bad thing, but we've got to obviously show some form of accountability. So
yeah.
And then the next day, when players have to go apologise, it's the worst feeling.
Yeah.
You just know it's coming. Like Razor said his speech around the week and whatever, and blah blah blah. And then I've just come and said, Bryn. He just looked at you like dead eyes. You've got to get up. I'm like, Bryn. I'm like, right. Get up to the group and just apologise, and which I was, obviously at the time, it's shit there that happened, but yeah, that was probably the most rogue thing I did. Other than that, and probably almost missing the bus for the last game. So that's probably it.
Yeah. Go on, what's the last one? Missing the bus.
Oh,
just slept up.
Yeah, so that final was my last game.
Yeah,
and I think the bus was at like 6 o'clock or whatever to get back to Auckland, and I just slept through my alarm.
Oh wow.
And so, like, I've got a call on my phone, and they're just like, Bryn, like, mate, we're on the bus. And I'm just like, oh, I'm trying to wake up.
Post the final.
Oh,
I thought it was to the final. I was like, man, this is a secret.
Oh, Trip would have been in the game, mate. Would have been in the game. But, no, I just wake up late, and Sam Whitelock just knocks on the door, takes my bag, and
it's understandable, mate, with that performance last game. Oh, yeah, get up when you want. Oh, good stuff. Okay, next one. Does he use his left or right hand throwing the ball out of the bunker?
Oh, is that Matt Considine?
I'm not sure. I haven't got the names down, but you're pretty good at guessing. You're 3 from 3 so far.
That's one of my best mates. And I hate to say it. I do hate to say it. When I was younger, and when I was really competitive and really bad at golf, I was playing my mate at one of our clubs. And I was in the bunker and I was down by 2. And I just couldn't hit out of bunkers. He's not chucking out the ball, and he's seen me. He's just standing over and he's just seen it play out the whole time, and I've just chucked the ball out. And so that happened 10 years ago, but it still comes up in conversation. So, yep, it was the right hand. So it's the right hand, unfortunately. Not one of my prouder moments.
That's good stuff. So competitive. Anything to do to win. Okay, next one. You probably guess where this comes from too. How much do you love your girlfriend?
From Samantha. Love her to bits. The fact that we've gone 4 years. Some say it's a Houdini act, but she's done a lot for me. She's obviously come over to Japan and in Christchurch for the last the 2 years that we were together here. So I love you a lot.
Oh, love you heaps. Good answer. Good answer. Okay, next one. Best memories from living with Jack Goodhue. Kind of gone through it, but might have another one.
Best memories. What's the best memories other than like the non-cooked chicken? Best memories probably actually from Jack has actually been in going into like Epsom baths.
Oh yeah,
Jack would be a massive advocate around that. So when we actually did it together, when we jumped in the bath together, it was actually really nice. But
in your own bath?
Sorry, no, in our own bath. Sorry, that's poor for me. It's really poor for me. Thought I was going to get a laugh.
I just didn't want to laugh in case it was true.
Well, it could be true. I just he'd do it religiously, just religiously, just always be in the Epsom bath, and always leave it in. So it was pretty cold when you get in the have a shower. You got cold water, just hasn't let it out. So yeah, that'd be probably it. And also probably doing that's probably it actually. Yeah, it's
Okay. Did playing in Japan suit your style of play or Super Rugby more? Which comp?
Different parts probably suited different competitions.
Yeah.
I think Japan is fast, man.
Yeah.
Like no contact. Like I would have made like 30 contacts in 2 years.
Yeah.
But like the speed of play is really, really fast. When it is fast, the skill set probably isn't to where the Super Rugby is. Like I think that's probably one thing the Japanese they need to be a little bit better in. Like they work hard, but their probably decision making and being able to pass and not make mistakes.
Yeah,
under pressure is probably one of the things. So I'd say the speed was really good for me. I loved it, and I actually learned a lot around my running game, and probably had a really good running game in terms of the back end of this year. Like saw some pictures that actually through my coaching, Ed, who was a coach for England, just instilled into me that if I actually do end up coming back to North Harbour, really interested to see if I can do it at that kind of level.
Oh, that's cool.
But yeah, I'd probably say Japan.
You would have missed the detail in Japan.
Detail. I don't even think we had any meetings, bro. It was actually the amount of detail there's nothing there. I think we had maybe our preview was like 5 minutes. Our like review was like a 5-minute job, like 2 clips. And then you expect it to then like solve the world against a Panasonic or Toshiba with those kind of pictures. So yeah, it was no detail at our club.
Oh, good stuff. Okay, best player he played with.
Oh man, I'd probably say it's pretty hard to go past Richie. I think just probably Richie and Sam, probably Sam Whitelock.
Yeah.
Look, Richie, just what he did at this club, and especially at this club when I played with him, like you grew an arm and a leg knowing that he was on the field. And I think what he did off the field, his detail, whatnot, was second to none. But his ability in big games to just find a way, whether defensively or attack or some game knowledge in terms of like how you can get a win, he was pretty good. And then I think the other thing with Sam that I really enjoyed was Sam, like never saw him flustered. In the 6 years that I was here, never saw that guy flustered in big moments off the field or anything like that. So it had a real good leadership quality that I haven't seen before. And so those are probably the 2 guys that, in my time here that, would probably be the 2 players I reckon.
Okay, hard to argue, man. Absolute greats. Okay, 5 tips you would give little Bryn.
Little Bryn. This is probably going to come into that last question you're going to ask me before we end this podcast.
Oh, you know.
5 things. I think the first one is like just be patient.
Yep.
Which is really hard to do. I think when you're younger, like, you want everything to happen really fast
as you can.
So being patient. I think working hard, that works.
Yeah.
The work ethic and being able to instill the thing, it sets you up for everything, not just in like rugby, but in life. If you've got that good work ethic, I think empathy, having empathy.
Yeah.
It's been something that's probably grown in the last 3 to 4 years with a partner. And having that empathy actually can help you in terms of being able to inspire people, being able to help people, having that empathy. And probably learned that actually with the dotting system. And it's a really good thing that I learnt. What else?
Really testing your 5.
I'll go one more. I think just enjoying being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Which is really hard.
It is hard.
It's really, really hard.
Everyone tries to avoid being uncomfortable.
Yeah, but I think, the more times you could put yourself in that position, I probably could be a lot better in that space off the field.
Yeah.
You can be real comfortable and like, and you in rugby, you've got to be uncomfortable and you open-mindedness to be able to try and do it, be better.
Yeah.
But doing that off the field's a lot harder, I believe.
Yeah.
So that'd be the 4 thing. So
Jeez,
I couldn't do 5.
Can you save one for the last question, hopefully, man? I cannot wait for that piece of advice. Favourite pasta?
Ooh, fettuccine.
Fettuccine, hands down.
100%. Carbonara.
Were you big on that pasta night?
Yeah. Massively. Yep. So it'd be a same order.
Big dress up.
Yeah, that actually became a little bit too much in the end. Like when we actually were like, no, boys, we've done enough here. It just got enough. Got out of hand. Got way too out of hand.
Yeah.
So, but to answer your question, would definitely be fettuccine. From Tutubeni.
Oh, yep. Nice. Toughest 9 to mark.
Oh. People probably think, they'd say like Aaron Smith and like a TJ. TJ was always hard, like his competitor, but I always found Taura Kubalo.
Oh, yeah.
God, he was so hard, man. Like he would. If one guy would always have me, it'd be him. I didn't get to play him a lot, but little things like standing on your feet at a ruck, like pulling you when you're running a support line, like push you on the ground, or just being in your face. Yeah, he was really, really good at that. So. Can't say too many times I got the good of Tawada, so Tawada probably.
Oh, nice, like that. Okay, most embarrassing moment you've experienced?
Oh, I think it's that Josh Mackay one.
Oh, yeah.
I think that'd be right up there. I think
haunts you.
Yeah, it still does to this day. Get a few clips flown around every now and then. So yeah, Joshy, good on you, mates. Probably be that
recent URC winner, mate.
He's done well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has.
He's had a hell of a year.
Yeah. Ever since that moment.
Oh, like he's gone on to bigger and better things, just like Jack Goodhue, just like Will Jordan. Seems like I'm one that can just help people get better, eh?
Okay, next one. Are your eyebrows drawn on?
No, they're not. There's a lot there.
Do you get a lot? Do you get that a lot?
A little bit, yeah. There's a lot to them, so yeah. No, but they're not drawn on, unfortunately.
Don't do anything to them?
Nah.
Natural.
The old Mel Meningas.
Why does he never wear undies?
Oh, wow. That's a good one, actually. I just hate it, Jimmy.
Do you? Do you actually never wear them?
No, I'm
not even game.
I'm not even wearing any now. Sitting next to you right now.
Fuck. But what about games?
Games and wearing jeans.
They're the
games and wearing jeans are probably the ones. Yeah,
because of the zip.
Because of the zip. So yeah, I just hate the feeling. Just
always
let them just drop and just enjoy themselves. You know, Jimmy. They don't need to be tightened up. You know, just can't breathe.
Let them breathe.
Let them breathe.
All right, that's interesting.
Probably if you think about women, they probably don't like wearing a bra.
Yeah.
So two. So
yeah. Obviously, when you wear exercise, if you're doing
exercise, you have to. Yeah, there's a lot of things that can happen when you do the old lunges or you're doing the old back and you're doing the old legs are up in the air,
like running across the road and all that stuff. Just
like if you got a form of activity, then you're definitely wearing it. Possibly with jeans going out and that, and then. But any chance I can just let it go, let it breathe.
Oh, yeah. Good on you. I like that. Embrace it.
That's where we just lose the viewers now. Hey? This is where we just lose them. Just turn it off, radio. Turn it off.
It's talking about no undies. What's going on in this podcast? Okay, we'll get them back. Here we go.
Yep.
Ask him if he's ever had a scrap on Queen Street.
Oh, Brad Anderson.
Brad Anderson. Everyone.
Brad Anderson, I had one. Yeah, so I've done it. I'll summarise it pretty quickly. So when I was in Auckland for my academy, academy managers always say, look, if you're going to go out, be smart. You're wearing the emblem. You're wearing the emblem, and don't get into fights on the street. So we got given this pretty early. I was like 18, and we got told that. And then that weekend, I ended up going out with my mates, and these guys were just heckling us and whatnot, blah blah blah. So it leads to a few fisticuffs and that kind of stuff. End up throwing a few punches and whatnot.
Oh.
And the guy Brad, who pretty much giving the speech, ends up walking down the road, and he's seen me get into this. He's seen me get into this fight, and I'm just like, oh damn it! He's just had this conversation with me. So he's grabbed me, and I'm just like, mate, I'm sober. Like, don't worry, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah,
it wasn't my fault. I've just helped him out my mates, which is actually what was just happening. These guys have been dickheads.
Oh, you were sober.
No, I wasn't sober, but I tried to lie, Oh, mate, you can breathalyze me, do whatever you want, I'm not a bad kid. I'm not going to ruin this opportunity. But he ended up grabbing me up. But every time I see him, we always talk about that time. So yeah, but another scrapper. Yeah, only one fight I've ever had in my life.
Was it actually?
I never fight. So
yeah,
no, that was the one and only. So yeah,
what are the chances? Of
that? Pretty bad chance, but yeah, pretty funny. We could talk about it now.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay, two more. Who do you think the best winger in the world is at the moment?
Well, does Will Jordan class as a winger?
If you play him on the wing,
yeah. Probably say there's actually a few actually. I like Mark Teller's pretty hard to go by right now in New Zealand. I'd probably say New Zealand. He would be probably one of the better wingers, probably the best wingers. I like the French. What's his name? Pinot. Yeah, man. His ability with ball on hand and just like his footwork and that French flair that he has is pretty special.
Defensively,
and then,
he is very
just
good.
a weapon.
Yeah,
and then probably like Cheslin Colby.
Oh yeah,
he's pretty good on the wing. Yeah, he's pound for pound, he's
powerful.
One of the better ones floating around. Yeah.
So, he would have been carving up in Japan.
Yeah, he goes real good.
Yeah,
gets the old Japanese boys on ice skates. So breaking ankles. So yeah.
Oh, three good wingers there. Yep. Jeez, like that. Okay, last question, the one you've been waiting for.
Yep.
Best piece of advice you have for a Woodlad listener from Bryn Hall.
Obviously, wear undies would be the first one. No, I just think being able to enjoy things, and it probably said to the four tips that I just gave, like as rugby players, when you're growing up younger, you just want to move so fast.
Yeah.
And it's not actually a bad thing that you wanted to move fast because you want to reach your goals and you want to be able to do that. But if you can actually take a step back and just reflect like the good things that you have done and been able to really do that. So I found in my last 3 years at Crusaders that like when we won the finals or the final weeks, like I was like, what actually happened through those weeks? Like these are your best days of your lives. So how do you actually when you're going to tell people like what did that week look like? You don't actually know because you're so process driven, which is so great. But if you can take a step back and enjoy the week, having that coffee or having that chat or being able to like play that game or the aftermatch or the lead up, the speech, and being able to really enjoy those moments, I think it makes it a lot better. And I think with young kids, you just need to have that drive and being able to want to have goals and want to be able to do things. But if you can enjoy that, I don't know if kids can do that.
Yeah.
But if you can actually, in some moments, take a step out, like if you made your first 15 team that you've worked so hard from a year 7 to get to a year 11 or year 12, and you've done that, just really take a step back and enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because it's a big feat. And that's not just in like rugby, but in life. You know, might be getting married or having kids or buying your first house.
Yeah.
And going through those steps and just really trying to enjoy it. Don't try and enjoy everything because you're going to be there every day. You're just going to enjoy everything on that chair. Jeez, when I sat down on that chair, the feelings that I felt with that. But I think the big things in life, if you can just enjoy it and try to take yourself out of being so process driven, it's enjoyable.
Oh, so good. Worth the wait. Worth waiting the whole podcast.
We did lose the mate at undies. Jeez, we did.
But we got them back with some of the best advice. I don't know how the advice keeps getting better, but it just does. And that was some of the best we've had. But
appreciate that, mate.
Mate, what an experience. What a journey you've been on. So good to get you on. I hope it lived up to the All Black call.
It did, mate.
Naming.
It did.
Man, this has been special going through your journey. And
appreciate it.
I know whatever you choose next, whether it's Crusaders or Japan and then life after footy, coaching, presenting, podcasting, whatever you do, you're going to absolutely kill it. But been awesome having you on.
Thanks, Jeremy Marr. Thanks, mate. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolute lad.